evolving digital landscape, for your business to thrive, you must adapt or die. Welcome to Marketing in the Age of AI, the podcast helping you harness the power of AI and marketing tools to revitalize and grow your business. And now here's your host, marketing expert and author of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI, Emmanuel Rose.
Welcome to this episode of Marketing in the Age of AI. I'm your host, Emmanuel Rose, and today we're joined by Colin Hirdman, an accomplished marketing professional with over 15 years of experience in digital marketing, commerce, and brand strategy. Colin's impressive accomplishments include innovative strategies in customer acquisition, retention, and digital transformation. We're looking forward to a great show today, and welcome in, Colin.
Much, Emmanuel.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Emmanuel. Yeah, really happy to be here.
Well, it's good. I mean, you've got to participate and experience in this AI revolution, AI bubble, and I was just wondering how you in your various roles, how you began integrating AI tools and then how you're helping clients either behind the scenes or actively also engage with what we're working with in AI.
Yeah, for sure. So, I'm really doing that through a few different companies that I have right now. So, back in 2007, I started Monkey Island Ventures with Josh and Zach, two of my business partners, and we've all known each other since we were about 5 years old. And Monkey Island's named after a park we used to play at when we were kids. So since 2007, we've launched probably a dozen SaaS products. We have a digital marketing company, a software development company, and then a LinkedIn service company. And all three of them are using AI. And I think at various levels, what we're really seeing across the companies is, our ability to leverage AI as in an assistive manner, where we're using it to digest lots of data, like on the digital side, where we're able to come out with faster recommendations. We're able to build out reporting faster, able to create better content. Not that we're completely relying on the AI to build it,
Sure.
but that, again, it's an assistant. So that's with our digital marketing company, Agurian. With Cloudburst, our software development company, Josh, Zach, and I are non-technical founders. So we have always, in the past, to build our software products, used developers to help build the product. But when we created Cloudburst, we really wanted to build it as a software development company we wished we always had as non-technical founders. And of course, that company, I think, is 6 years old now, and a lot has changed in AI over even just the last couple of years. But one of the areas we've paid a lot of attention to is like low code, no code technology, and then AI, of course, now. And that's having a pretty significant shift in not only the way that we're building software, but it's allowing founders to really kind of scale their ideas up faster and cheaper. And so we've seen, even in the last year, we're building a lot more like custom GPTs. And we're even doing it in a way where we're building that GPT as a stage one. And then stage two, we're starting to connect it to other products, in a more sophisticated manner, like Airtable. Or as that product starts to get traction, we'll put like a layer on top of it, allowing people to create accounts and log in and things like that. And then if you continue to get traction, then it might scale up into its own unique custom built software product. But what we really love is that we're able to work with founders and entrepreneurs and help them build their ideas faster and cheaper with utilizing AI technology. And of course, not only with the GPTs, but again, using other AI products to help us, build and vet code, things like that. So we've seen a pretty seismic change just in the way that we're leveraging AI in Cloudburst, doing software development. And then, with Rainmaker, that's our newest company. That's about 9 months old, and we're really focusing on that and helping our clients generate a larger network, leads, and sales using LinkedIn. And we're using a form of, process and automation within LinkedIn to help our clients achieve that. One of the things that I realized over the last few months were how many clients were talking to me about, messages, because, after you get a new connection, I like to kind of bolt on authentic messages that can get sent out, right, to these new
Yeah,
connections.
you bet.
And what I'm finding is a lot that some of my clients, we're pushing too fast into like a sales, into salesy language and
The
messaging,
old
which
pitch slap. Yeah.
yep, you just don't want to do that, right?
Right.
Nobody wants to be sold on LinkedIn. And so one of the things that I've done over the last month is I've built out a custom GPT that's kind of taking the ethos of Rainmaker and being authentic and an education mindset and, kind of that go giver mindset of like
Yep.
providing value, right? And so
Sure.
I just launched this week that GPT internally to some of my clients, and I'm going to start getting feedback on that GPT from them on like, is it helping you write better messages? Is it, kind of, I want it to be somewhat even forceful, like, pushing back against the user, like, what's going
Right.
to work and what isn't going to work as it pertains to messaging. So, so anyway, those are some different ways that we're applying it, and we absolutely just love the ability to, kind of do things the right way, whether it's across digital marketing or software development or LinkedIn, and have AI really assist in those efforts.
Yeah, well, that's it's a varied application. Is there one of the kind of retail GPTs or LLMs that you're using and getting value from in kind of your day to day administration as a business person?
Yeah, I mean, there's, we're using Chat GPT, Claude, Perplexity.
Yeah,
So yeah, we're using those in different capacities. And I think, we're still at that point where, um, we're trying out the different technologies. We're seeing, what are they really good at? What aren't they so good at? And stringing those together to see, what works.
and then what are you seeing in terms of adoption rate at the client level or in their work life?
Yeah. So if adoption level in terms of them using AI products, or adoption level in terms of us creating deliverables out of AI and them
Yeah,
adopting?
no, the downstream version where, how much are your clients actually using chat or Claude and
Sure.
are they building an AI first human in the loop kind of culture or are they still watching and waiting?
I think with Gurion, our digital marketing company, we're working with, larger companies, and I think, they're absolutely looking at AI, and some are starting to implement it in different ways, but they're taking a more cautious approach to it. Um, with at Cloudburst, a lot of the founders that we're working with, have played around with AI, and some have done it in a much more sophisticated manner. It just, part of it is, does AI interest them? Like, is it fun? Is it
Yeah,
interesting? Do they want to spend time in it? If not, then we're seeing a lot of these founders not spending tons of time in it yet because they don't necessarily have an application for it, and they need to
sure.
be pushed in that manner of like having a need. But I think through the work we're doing in Cloudburst and helping them build their software, really light and more inexpensively, they're seeing the benefit of these tools. And of course, when we're building within these tools and we start to expose the founder to those tools, they start using it. And I think there's a pretty quick adoption when they see, the actual viability and use case, in the real world. So.
Yeah, well, and I don't know if you've done any time studies or anything, but even just off the cuff, kind of kind of leverage are you seeing from using, these AIs to do the heavy lifting of
Yeah.
starting things?
Yeah. So, well, I'll answer that two ways. One is these AIs are giving us the ability as non-technical founders to actually start building technical products in ways that were possible with low code, no code, but it just wasn't as easy, and it's a lot
Yeah.
easier now. And
Right.
so, even an example, we did a test earlier this year on a Shopify site, and we needed to Zach and I needed to build some code, and we traditionally we would have went and hired somebody, but
Yeah.
instead, we went into Chat GPT and had it look at understand what we were trying to build, and then we said this is the function that we want to happen. Can you rewrite this in a way in Shopify's liquid code
Yeah.
so it would work? And it pumped out the liquid code, and we just copied and pasted that into Shopify, and it worked, right? So I think there's some applications around using it from like a nothing, from like a 0 to 1, right? Like you're not
Yeah.
building because you can't, you just don't have the skill set to. AI is helping me with the skill set.
Yeah.
Now, there is also the time factor, right? So, we're, for sure from like a non-technical standpoint, we're able to bring in a lot of these low code, no code tools together and start to leverage them in ways that, is saving us tons of time by using AI. And with some of our developers, using these AI assistants to help them with their code,
Yeah.
I think developers, the one thing, if you have a developer look at another developer's code, they're almost always going to say what's wrong with it, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So,
Just
but
like attorneys.
yeah, right, exactly. That's right. And so, but I do think that our team is really enjoying working with some of these AI tools to help them with their code, whether it's through problem solving or generating net new code.
Yeah.
You definitely still need to understand the code base that you're working in. You need to understand the principles of being a developer in order to wield these tools properly. But at least right now, they're of great service.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's the same for us as marketing professionals, right? Like the Chat GPT in your hands is much different than it is in somebody who just graduated with a marketing degree and
Right.
understanding the subtleties and the intricacies of how to build a campaign and a content counter, an ICP, and content maps.
Yeah.
So they're phenomenal tools, and like all tools, we have to know how to use them and sharpen our understanding of them to get the best out of it.
Oh, that's exactly right. Yep. And I think we, you look at the investments putting into these platforms, and I think I don't remember. It's now like you know, Chat GPT is valued at like 150 billion or something like that. Like it's just crazy for the amount of investment they're getting. But at the end of the day, AI is ideally creating almost like that easy button, right? It's just helping you, whether it's through content or looking at code or building out images or whatever. It's
Yep.
just there as that assistant, and we'll have to see where it goes in the next decade. But yeah, it's pretty powerful, and it's got certainly a very strong trajectory ahead of it.
I agree. I would love to have you describe just a couple of the new software projects you're working on, either by name or by concept, and just to see kind of what the vector is, the directionality that you're working on right now.
Yeah, for sure. So, um, one of them is it's an app for pets, and what we ended up doing was taking AI, and we were integrating that to help walk the person through the concept of how they should be taking care of their pets and things that they should be doing, and then we're integrating. Uh, like Airtable and a couple other products that's enhancing the experience for the user, where they're able then to get connected with people or businesses to help them kind of better understand holistically how they should be taking care of their pet. And it's really just kind of guiding and walking them through that experience. So that one is, in its early stages. We're just about to release that for our client into like a beta for them.
Yeah.
The other one with the one that I was talking about for the Rainmaker LinkedIn service with the messages, I just released it out to a few clients yesterday and today to start testing it. But the way that I was building that out was really around that ethos of um, you know I don't want to see salesy messages. I don't want the GPT to accept messaging that isn't somewhat personalized, that isn't educational or adding value.
Yeah.
Even when someone starts a new session with it, it kind of runs through the ethos of what how and why we're going to create these messages.
Yeah.
And if someone puts in no, or I don't understand, like it won't even let them on until they accept the philosophy. Like until they agree with the philosophy, we're not letting them pass. And so, I think there's things that you can do within a product to really have it stand for what it is that you believe in. And for me, the opportunity for businesses to really grow through LinkedIn, by adding value to the network, by adding value to the ecosystem, you're able to turn LinkedIn into what I think most businesses want it to be, which is a revenue generator, right? I think
Sure.
using LinkedIn as a social network is great. It's still about people. It's still about building relationships. But I need it to be more than that. I need it to help me drive prospects into leads and leads into revenue, into sales. And so, what I'm hoping, and one of the reasons why I created this messenger is, I am not going to be an expert on my clients' businesses. They have
Right.
to be.
Sure.
And I don't want to provide the manual input on whether I think their messages are any good or not. So I
Yeah.
created this GPT almost out of a sense of necessity, where I'm seeing bad messages come from them. I think if there's pushback, it probably feels a lot better to them having that pushback come from an AI bot versus a
Yeah.
human like me, right? You probably won't
Right.
take it
It's not
defensively.
embarrassing from a
Right.
machine, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it doesn't require any of my time, right? So
Yep.
what I'm doing, I'm staging this out where I'm putting out this GPT, I'm letting them interact with it and start to build messages out of it. And then what I want is to get feedback from my users around, like, I don't really like it because it does this, or it won't let me do this. And then hopefully what I'll start to see is, as messages come from my clients, that they're going to be of higher quality, of better value, and they're going to really kind of fit in with what I believe works on LinkedIn. So I think that's where a lot of your listeners, as they're thinking about AI, think about pressure points, pain areas, what's affecting you right now that you could potentially leverage AI in a lightweight way, which doesn't take a lot of your time, and where there's good to significant benefit by implementing it. I think a lot of it kind of just comes out of a need to address a pain point.
Yeah, I agree. What are kind of what's your structure for once you identify that pain point? Then how do you dig in and start to implement some tools or a process?
Yeah. I think for virtually every pain point you have, there's solutions out there, right?
Yeah.
So when I think about the pain points for me and growing Rainmaker, starting at nothing, 9 months ago, and now building a business, is, my pain points then was, you know, uh, building out the brand, building out an audience on LinkedIn, and then starting to create content, right? So my pain points I started to do a lot more LinkedIn live streams where I'm teaching my audience how to use LinkedIn. I just did one this morning to one of the audiences, like blockchain founders. And I had, I think, 40 people, around 40 people sign up for that. Right.
Nice. Yeah.
My pain point in doing that was, okay, I want to figure out how to do live streaming. Right. So I figured out how to build the event on LinkedIn. I figured out how to use StreamYard and how to push that in and figured that out. And then once I started going to a lot more networking events, as I was tapping my network, as I was doing these live streams, now I'm starting to have prospects, right? And so then I ended up getting Nutshell as my CRM, right? Because it was simple, it's fairly inexpensive, and I could just start keeping track of all of my leads. And then, as I was actually now have customers, and the customers are giving me assets, and as I'm seeing that the message assets aren't what I think they're, should be, well, now that pain point is getting addressed by creating that GPT. So, I think it's really important that people not spend time on things where there isn't a pain point. The pain point for a lot of early stage businesses is building out your brand, right? You need to do that to look reputable, but you don't need to spend a ton of time on that. It just needs to be good enough. And then sales, right? You should be spending the vast majority of your time on podcasts, going to networking events, reaching out to people, building out your book of business. And then as you're doing that, you're going to feel pain around starting to, get customers. And so, don't overbuild. Don't spend too much time on things that don't matter. Sales cures all ills. So
that's right.
Don't spend a lot of your time until you start to have a viable business.
Wow. Well, those are all great points. I like that kind of get out there, do the networking, and don't overbuild the branding part of it. And like you're saying, I love that where you can identify your pain, and then there's websites that have these aggregation of all the tools, software tools, and you can go and do that research and pick one or two to test and that fit your price, and then get into it and continue to learn, right? And that's really I think the biggest thing that this trend has taught me is that it's critical that we as business professionals and marketing professionals spend time learning about this and experiencing it and building a warehouse of knowledge and intuition around how to use these tools.
Totally agree. Yep. That kind of always learning mindset, right? And also keeping that experimentation mindset as well, where you're going to try things out and stuff's not going to work and some stuff will, and you just have to continue to learn from all of that.
Yeah, it's nice. Well, Colin, I really appreciate your time and your insights today. And if people want to get in touch with you, what's the simplest way to get in touch with you?
Yeah, so all of my time is spent in Rainmaker, so rainmakergrows.com. That's the LinkedIn service that we're providing to small businesses, entrepreneurs, business coaches, sales teams, etc. I'm also the only Colin Hirdman on LinkedIn, so love to connect there too. But I'm always happy to provide free strategy around LinkedIn. I love doing that, so people can feel free to reach out to me.
All right. Well, I really appreciate your time and thanks for everything. Have a great day.
You too, Manuel. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Colin. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Marketing in the Age of AI. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. Your copy of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI is available at Amazon.com or EmmanuelRose.com. You can also connect with Emmanuel on LinkedIn.